Welcome to Conflict News 24. We have several updates for you on the ongoing conflict in East Congo. On Wednesday, a mini summit was held in Luanda, Angola. Some decisions have been made there. Will the decisions be implemented? What will M23, FDLR, Red Tabara, and other armed groups do? Will they listen to what joint statement says? The joint statement was issued after yesterday's mini summit held in Angola. Details for you. Secondly, US named Rwanda a few hours ago that Rwanda is backing M23 fighters. Details for you. Thirdly, a protest was held in Goma city today in front of French and Britain's consulates. And fourthly, CODECO is a group of militias operating mainly in Ituri province of Congo, which shares border with North Kivu. And this group of militias has been operating for years there. And since yesterday, it was being rumored that CODECO fighters were joining FARDC, Congolese military. But Ituri military chief denied the reports. What did he say? Firstly, viewers, in Luanda, Angola, mini summit was held to resolve the conflict in East Congo. Some decisions have been made. A joint statement has been issued. What are the main points mentioned in the statement? Is the decisions made in Luanda, Angola enforceable? What will M23 fighters do? Firstly, what was agreed? Who were the participants? I spoke in detail about participants who attended the talks in Angola, Luanda yesterday. The talks were hosted by Angolan President Joao Lourenço. DRC's President Felix Tshisekedi was there. Burundi's president was there too. From Rwanda, Paul Kagame did not turn up. He sent his foreign minister. And from Kenya, former Kenyan president was there, Uhuru Kenyatta. From Uganda, Yoweri Museveni was not there in Angola. So which decisions were made? Firstly, it was decided that all armed groups, foreign or local, operating in East Congo must be disarmed, that the groups should voluntarily surrender their weapons. Around 120 armed groups are operating in East Congo, viewers, in North Kivu, South Kivu, Ituri, 3 provinces, and in these areas around 120 local and foreign groups operate. 3 main foreign groups are operating. Firstly, FDLR, which is Rwandan opposition group, Hutu fighters. Rwanda accuses DRC Congo of backing FDLR. FDLR and M23 fighters have been fighting for months now. M23 are Hutsis and FDLR are Hutus. Secondly, Red Tabara is a group which is from Burundi. It is also operating in East Congo. Thirdly, ADF, Allied Democratic Forces, which is Ugandan opposition fighters group operating in East Congo. These 3 groups are mentioned in the statement. There are several others too, which are mostly local. So the statement calls upon all these groups to surrender their weapons and be ready for repatriation. They will be repatriated to Burundi, Rwanda, and Uganda. Secondly, the regional leaders have agreed that on Friday, 6 p.m. local time, cessation of hostilities will be enforced. That all fighting must stop by tomorrow 6 p.m. Friday local time. After that, withdrawal of M23 fighters must start from areas newly captured by M23 fighters in East Congo, main cities like Bunagana, Rutshuru City, Kiwanja, and others. M23 fighters must start withdrawing from all these occupied areas, and in place of M23 fighters, Kenyan troops will move in these areas. Will there be FARDC, FDLR? No, I think, because Kenyan troops will be in charge of the areas from where M23 fighters will withdraw. And next point is that Kenyan troops will be deployed to Rutshuru, Kiwanja, all the areas which are under M23 fighters' control. One of the concerns of M23 fighters is that if they withdraw from the newly captured areas, FDLR will move in. FDLR are Hutus, and that Hutu FDLR fighters will commit atrocities in alliance with FARDC. That is why Kenyan troops will be moving in the areas if they are vacated areas by M23 fighters. So these talks were held among East Africa community leaders. There was no representation of M23, Red, Tabara, or ADF, Ugandan opposition fighters. So it was a sort of consensus created among EAC countries that these points should be implemented. If by tomorrow ceasefire is not implemented, if M23 fighters do not withdraw, then EAC countries will launch a military offensive against the armed groups, not only M23 but also others. So coming hours are very crucial, viewers. What is going to happen in the next 24 hours will determine the future course of this conflict. Will M23 listen to this joint statement? Will FDLR be disarmed? M23 is of this view that FDLR is backed by Congolese government, that FARDC backs it backs FDLR fighters. Yesterday, M23 fighters issued a statement saying that FARDC was withdrawing some areas in Masisi and FDLR was moving in those areas, and that Tutsis there was at risk of genocide. So it's a very complex conflict with involvement of several militias and groups and regional neighbors. Coming hours are very crucial. Will there be cessation of hostilities by 6 p.m. Friday? We'll update you tomorrow, viewers. Secondly, US a few hours ago openly accused Rwanda of backing M23 fighters. US State Department's Bureau of Africa Affairs welcomed Angola's efforts to resolve the conflict in East Congo, as Angola hosted mini summit held there yesterday. And US said that peace would come when M23 fighters withdrew and when Rwanda stopped supporting M23 fighters. The US clearly accused Rwanda in its statement yesterday that Rwanda was backing M23 fighters. Meanwhile, a protest was held today in Goma, where locals protest in front of consulates of the UK and France, and they urged international community to take action against M23 fighters. It was obviously a government-backed protest to put pressure upon France and UK that they should be actively supporting Congolese government. And lastly, was CODECO militia, group of militias is not joining FARDC. CODECO, Cooperation for Development of Congo, is a group of armed militias operating in Ituri, North Kivu as well, mainly in Ituri. And this group has been fighting Congolese forces for months. And it was being rumored since yesterday that CODECO's fighters were joining FARDC, Congolese military. But Ituri military chief a few hours ago made it clear that no CODECO fighters were joining FARDC. He said that the solution was disarming of CODECO fighters, disarming, demobilization, and reintegration of the fighters into society was the solution. So all were rumors about CODECO fighters joining FARDC in Ituri. There are several players in this conflict in East Congo. Can all of them, can all these groups, militias be disarmed and repatriation of FDLR to Rwanda, Red Tabara to Burundi, and ADF to Uganda is very difficult because these groups claim that they will be at risk of atrocities, at risk of persecution if they are returned to these countries. So how will they be repatriated to these countries? There are several issues. Let's see what happens. Coming out was crucial. We'll tomorrow about this conflict. Thanks for watching.